Hi there, my name's Nick Brown. I'm a teaching-focused academic in the School of Engineering at RMIT University. I'm going to speak to you today from the lands of the Woiwurrung and Boonwurrung language groups of the Eastern Kulin Nation about my experience with applying for and winning the 2021 Australian Award for University Teaching. The Teaching Award recognises my approaches in engaging engineering students predominantly in things like social justice, poverty alleviation, and sort of making that a part of standard engineering practice. And also doing that at multiple different levels. Some of my teaching approach means that I get to work in a more intro to engineering course where we have 1,100 students, and I manage to work with a team of about 31 teachers to ensure that students are engaging with that kind of material, all the way to later year courses where I might be working with 25, 30 students on some kind of experiential learning or service learning course. We're in Fiji, Timor, Cambodia, places like that, learning again about the application of engineering in humanitarian contexts. And I think that it was a nice balance about talking about that breadth of work as well, which was something that I put into the application. I definitely had a bit of success going into that AAUT award application, and I probably wouldn't have done. In fact, I was even considering, obviously I'm quite glad now, but I was even considering withdrawing from the process. I wasn't too sure about the application. I wasn't sure that I'd really sort of done enough or could really justify it. Obviously, I'm really glad that I did. And I did get some useful hints and help along the way from so many people who really gave me the nudge and said, look, you have done some good stuff. You should at least give it a go. I was definitely boosted by the fact that I won the School of Engineering Award and then the University Early Career Teaching Award as well. So 2 early career teaching awards that really helped me in framing my application at the AAUT. The thing that I would say more than anything else is the fact that going through those different award applications, the school and then the university and then finally the AAUT award, was just a great opportunity to reflect on my own teaching practice. I would strongly encourage everyone, I'm sure that everyone does this already, even if you're not going to actually submit the award or apply, still thinking about reflecting on your teaching practice and gathering evidence to show the impact that teaching practice has had. It's just a really great part of academic practice. And in fact, it was so valuable to me when I then eventually applied for promotion to senior lecturer, because I pretty much had that teaching section written out already because I'd been reflecting on my process so much. For anyone that's an aspiring applicant, I would encourage you to sit down early and do that reflective practice. I've had a couple of people asking me for advice more recently saying like, hey, how do I show ongoing commitment to X or Y? And I said, well, it's hard to do that now. You have to have, if you need to show something, you needed to have done that a few years ago and be continuing with that teaching practice over time. It's definitely about taking a look at what's going on nice and early, building up that evidence base. Definitely, I've tried to, in a lot of my applications, produce a broad array of evidence. I use quite a lot of quotes, maybe overused. Some people said too much. I think it's good. I mean, it's worked for me anyway. I find it quite hard to big myself up and talk about some of the things that I've done. Quotes are great because basically it's someone else, right, telling you that, hey, you've done a good job for this reason or that reason, or I really enjoyed this. So just copying and pasting that quote across is a great way to tell your story, but using someone else's words. And especially if you're sort of new to writing award application, definitely collecting quotations and going through student surveys and those kinds of things to understand. The other thing I'd say is that since the award, I've actually been asked to sit on other award bodies in the early career category that I've noticed by starting to review more applications. I think that it's quite strong to talk about that body of work that you're doing and you're trying to put forward, talking about applying how does teamwork work in this huge course compared with when you're doing it in a very small. How do you change your teaching style to being really facilitator based to being maybe more like lecturing? A lot of the applications that I have seen so far have sort of been more research papers talking about a particular aspect of teaching into a real deep level. Whereas I think for some of the things like the early career awards, you want to be talking about that breadth of stuff that you've done. And there's never enough space to really talk about to a huge degree. Having that breadth and bringing in different examples, different case studies and so on, I think it can be really valuable. My overall thought is just applying for the award meant that I actually stopped and thought about my own teaching practice as I transition between early career and now at the very start of that mid-career process. Reflecting has been really valuable to me, and if I've been doing more recently, if I want to build on what I've done over the last few years and start to explore different techniques, different teaching philosophies, and start to work on different kinds of courses, try to explore a bit more about my own teaching practice. I wouldn't have done that if I hadn't stopped and actually thought about what I'd done. Capturing that in an award application is a great thing to do as well. I wish you the best of luck with your own teaching journey and award application.